sensors work. So important of the understanding the biometric sensors. So all these, sometimes there may be some organs related to the mind, or the affected to our mentality, mental behavior. Likewise, this is what we call physiological behavior. So if one wants to study the behavior, then we undergo with the physical features. So that is what we understood by the physiological behavior. And the second approach was psychodynamic approach. So here we talk about the mental status, or about the mentality, psychoanalysis part. So there were some followers of Sigmund Freud. We talk about his mentality, function of the psyche, or likewise we talk about the psychodynamic approach. So these people do not bother about our physical factors, but they only believe about our mentalities, so mental situations. So all the mental disorders and the behaviors, activities based on these mental situations. One's mental situation is very, very important. That is what this psychodynamic approach says. So this is also a different perspective, different point of view. So we can be used. This point of view is also can be used to study the human behavior. That is what we want to take. Conscious, subconscious, ego and superego, the status of the mind, features of the mind, all these features are discussed under this psychodynamic approach. So here we talk about the iceberg, how the formation of our mind. Other iceberg describe the formation of our mental life. So there, if you want to add something to the note, you can add the iceberg theory to this psychodynamic approach. And then we discussed about this Russian psychologist and his famous experiment with the dog, and it all classical conditioning theory. Classical conditioning theory, I think you can remember very well. The theory or the experiment was with a dog. So here basically they wanted to highlight, the researchers wanted to highlight this one. They wanted to highlight the conditioning. Conditioning means there's a bond. So in this case, if we are bound with some strong external what we call incentives, then our behavior, external incentives means some some rewards or some positive reinforcement is a new word, reinforcement or external rewards or some positive reinforcements. I have used different words to give the same meaning: rewards, reinforcement, positive reinforcement. All these things help us to change our behavior. So we call them stimulants. S-T-I-M-U-S, stimulants, L-A-N-T, stimulants. A stimulus, we know, stimulants are the support for us to activate. So they emphasize these people, these researchers emphasize the importance of the stimulants to do or to the behavior. So when it comes to the workplace, you know what are the stimulants. There are different incentives or reinforces. Enforce. It gives us the force to work. So can one of you two from our 33 participants, can you mention what are the reinforcers in the workplace? Just mention in our chat session, reinforces. Now we have discussed this theory, reinforces in our workplace. So the what we call incentives, reinforce, positive incentives. Put one or two incentive methods used by the industry. Just think. How do we relate this theory? This can be considered as a social learning theory. So here we can directly apply these theories to understand the human behavior. So now this is called classical conditioning theory. So we can use anywhere. At any time, we can use these theories to understand the human behavior. So I'm asking here, put one or two incentives that can be used. Incentives, now I have explained the term. Incentives are the things that increase or reinforce our behavior. Reinforce means you can enhance the behavior specific or the what we call, we can enhance the behavior, we can increase the positive features of the behavior. So can't you imagine the few reinforcers that can be used in the industry or the workplace? Or sometimes in the classroom also, doesn't matter. Normally, if you are a teacher, then I may ask this question related to the classroom. So what are the incentives can be used in the industry? I think you can hear me very well. Can you? If you can hear me, please give one or two examples. Hello? Leadership. Yes, good. Leadership. Leadership may be a good Yeah, think the positive reinforces or the incentives or the stimulants. අපි වැඩක් කරන්න කොළඹවන දෙයක්. Leaders not up to කොළඹවන. What else? අපිට හරියට කරන්න පොළඹවනවා. වෙලාවට වැඩට එන්න පොළඹවනවා. පෙළඹවීමක් කරනවා. Re-incentives, reinforcement, stimulants, positive reinforcement. මොනවාද තව? මේවෙන් තමයි අපි understand කරගන්න ඕන behavior එක. හිතන්නකො පොඩ්ඩක්. නිකාම බනහම මට පේන්නේ නැහැ ඕගොල්ලෝ අහගෙන ඉන්නවද දන්නේ නැහැ නේද දන්නේ නැහැ. Make good relations with work colleagues. Yes, social interactions. Very good. Social interactions are very important to enhance the behavior of among the workers. So good relationships or good social relations. That is why the employers organize some trips or New Year festivals or some other parties. And what else? They organize different type of gatherings to enhance their mentality, enhance their behavior, which related to the to enhance the effectiveness of them, of the employees. What else? Make good relationship with work colleagues. What else? I want few more because I didn't. I only got 2 answers. Think. තේරුනේ නැත්නම් අපෝ කියන්න. මොකද්ද මම අහන්නේ කියන එක තේරුණාද නැද්ද කියලා. මම අහන්නේ employees ලගේ. ඒ කියන්නේ සේවකයින්ගේ හැසිරීම වර්ධනය කරන්න ඒ කියන්නේ ළඟේ සේවාව වැඩි වඩා හොඳ විදිහට ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න මොනවද දෙන reinforce ඒ කියන්නේ උත්තේජනය. අපි කියන්නේ සිංහලෙන් නම් උත්තේජක. එහෙම නැත්නම් දිරිගැන්වීම. දිරිගැන්වීම කියන්නේ reinforce කියන්නේ දිරිගැන්වීම. එහෙම නැත්නම් ගොඩක් දේවල් තියෙනවා. දිරි ගන්නවන ක්‍රම.
We can give some financial bonus.
Yes, can increase the give some financial aids. Increments, salary increments.
Some functions, entertainment functions.
Yeah, yes. Can organize some functions. Good. What else? To enhance the employees' morale.
Yes.
Can increase their salary. The salary increment once a year. After they get the what we call the target. If they achieve the target, they give some additional payment as an incentives. Have you heard the incentive? Word incentive, if you have done the work on time, then employers will give you the incentives, different type of incentives. Salary increment දෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ ඕනනම් සතියක නිවාඩුවක් දෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ ඕනනම් family එකටම trip එකක් දෙනවා. Yes, we do.
Traveling.
මොනවාද traveling දෙනවා. Traveling cover කරන්න පුළුවන්. නැත්නම් promotions.
Yes.
Promotions දෙනවා. Incentives. අපි එතකොට අපි ඒකට බවුන්ඩ් වෙනවා. ඒ ආයතනයේත් එක්ක අපි බැඳීමක් ඇති කරගන්නවා. ඉන්සෙන්ටිව්ස් මේ හැමදේම. positive incentives. Positive අපි කියන්නේ අපි ගාව තියෙනවා අපි if we compare this with the school environment, we have positive and negative both. Have you think about the negative incentives? What's the purpose of having negative incentives? Punishments. You know punishments? Different type of punishments. Yes, using those punishments or the negative incentives, we can change the behavior. We can change the behavior and using punishments. So both positive and negative incentives are very, very important to change the behavior. So if we get the positive things like food for the Pavlov's dog. Now Pavlov's dog got the food and he secreted the saliva. එයා කෙලරුනේ කෑම හම්බෙච්ච නිසා එයාගේ මොකක් හරි ඇක්ෂන් එකක් ආවා. අපිට හම්බෙනවා ඉන්සෙන්ටිව්ස්. එහෙම නැත්නම් work release හම්බෙනවා. නැත්නම් අපිට මොනවාද ප්‍රොමෝෂන්ස් හම්බෙනවා. වැඩපොලේන. එතකොට අපි හැමදාම වැඩට යනවා නම් ලීව් අඩුවෙන්ම ගත්ත කෙනාට හිතනවා මොනවාද දෙනවනේ සල්ලි දෙනවා මොනිටරි ඇඩ්වාන්ස්මන්ට්ස් තියෙනවා සල්ලි වලින් මේක දෙනවා එහෙම නැත්නම් එයාට ටාගට් එක අචීව් කරන්න කැලි ගන්නට නම් වැඩ කරන්න පුර ටාගට් එක අචීව් කරන්න එයාට දෙන මේ ඉන්සෙන්ටිව්ස් මේ වගේ අපි workplace එකේදී incentives ඇති උන්තර we call them reinforcers or the stimulants enhance our behavior. Stimulants are the things that enhance our behavior. Likewise, we talk about the classical conditioning. Then we move into the next theory, operant conditioning. Here also they discuss about the conditioning part. Conditioning is the bond or the relationship with the stimuli and the responses. So this is conditioning. So if we get more salary or the more monetary incentives, then we tend to work hard. You know, if we get the incentives or the high salary increments, we are bound with the company. We don't leave the company. Workers completed 5 years, then they assess their service, and they sometimes they provide some benefits for them. 5 years, 10 years, so they had the bond with the company. They don't think to leave the company. So this is what the conditioning. බැඳීමක් ඇති වෙනවා. ඉතින් අපි හරි කැමති ඒක බැඳීම තියාගන්න. අපි if we take the student behavior, so we can give them the punishments and the negative reinforcements, negative punishments to change the negative behaviors or the unaccepted behaviors. Sometimes if we can identify the wrong behavior such as gambling or some addictions, smoking, then we punish them using different negative reinforcers. We don't accept them. That is also a negative reinforcement. So this is called conditioning and reinforcers. So we have operant conditioning. We saw the experiment with rats and pigeons. So Skinner did this using rats as well as pigeons also he used to conduct this experiment. And here we call operations and operant condition. This not if you compare the experiment with previous theory called classical conditioning, this is called operant condition. So here we have to the Skinner's rat should do some activities to get his reward. Reward we know his present. To get his reward, he has to do something. Actions. Actions are needed to get the reward. That is why this is called operant conditioning theory. So here the responses are very important than the stimulants. So if we get the reward, then we activate. So that is what the difference. So now today we will come to this theory. It called trial and error learning theory. Trial and error. Trial and error theory of Thorndike. This E.L. Thorndike is the person who introduced this theory. Trial and error theory. This is also used to understand the human behavior. So here you can see the picture. What will happen if the hungry, again we will put hungry cat into the cage. Hungry cat, and there's a, we'll say food or a fish. There's a fish outside the box. So fish, the cat can smell the fish. This cat can smell the fish. So what will happen? So there's a latch. You know latch. The latch is a part of a door. Can be used to open the door. So here now, if the cat see or smell the fish or the food, then the cat tries to come out to have his fish. So then this ledge can be operated accidentally. මේක කොහේ හරි තැනක් පැයගුණොත් නිකම්ම ඇරෙන්න තමයි හදලා තියෙන්නේ. Can be accidentally open. So once the cat tries to go out, this cat tries to go out from the cage to have its this fish. So what will happen? Accidentally or automatically the latch will open. The door will this agula පෑගුණාම මේ door will open. Then මෙයා දුවගෙන ඇවිල්ලා මේක කෑමට ගන්නවා. So likewise, this is the experiment. If you put the cat again into the cage, once it had the fish or the food, automatically you open the door and get his fish. Then again you put the cat into the cage and lock the door. What will happen? what will happen? මේ පූසගේ පරීක්ෂණ නම් ගොඩක් අයට එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් ඇති. ගෙදරක මාළු පහලා තියෙන තැනක එහෙම තිබුණොත්, කුස්සියේ මාළු තියෙන තැනක් තිබුණොත් පූසෙක් කොහෙන් හරි දොරක් අරගෙන එනවා. එකෙක් හරි කන්න පුළුවන් පුරුදුනොත් එහෙම එකෙක් කෑවොත් ආයෙ එනවා තැන හොයාගෙන. මේගොල්ලෝ ඉගෙන ගන්නවා. එන්න තැන් අලුත් තැනක් හොයා ගන්නවා නේ. ඔයගොල්ලෝ සමහරලාට එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් කරලා ඇති මේක. ඉස්සෙල්ලා නිකන් කරනවා trial and learn. එල්ලා බලලා ඒක හරි ගියොත් එහෙම he continues the process. So this is all trial and error theory. So you can use this to understand the human behavior. එයා මොකද කරන්නේ? ආපහු දාපු ගම අගුල අරගෙන එනවා. E.L. Thorndike, Edward Lee Thorndike introduce this trial and error theory. මේ ඉස්සෙල්ලා ඒක දැනගෙන නෙවෙයි මේ අගුල අරින්නේ. දැනගෙන නෙවෙයි. හැබැයි ඊළඟට දෙවෙනි සතාවට මේ කුසව පෙට්ටියට දැම්මොත් එහෙම අර විදිහටම මොකද කරන්නේ? ආයෙ ඔටෝමැටිකලි අරින්න ඕනේ. මෙයා දන්නවා අරින විදිහ. It push the bar, come out and have its food. Hungry cat in the puzzle book. This is the experiment. So, අඩු කාලයකදී lesser time the cat learns to come out, which means we can assume that the cat has learned something. එයාට වැරදි කරපු දෙයක ට්‍රයල් එක and error ඉස්සෙල්ලා කරලා බලනවා හරියන්නේ නැහැ කොහොමද ඇවිදලා බලනවා කොහෙන්ද එළියට යන්නේ කියලා. හැබැයි අහම්බෙන් තමයි අර මේ අගුල ඇරෙන්නේ. අගුල ඇරුණාම එයා එළියට ගිහලා එයාගේ කෑම එක ගන්නවා. මෙයා මේක ආපහු දැම්මොත් ආපහු යනවා ගත වෙන කාලේ කිටි. ඒ කියන්නේ එයා ඉගෙනගෙන තියෙනවා. ඉස්සෙල්ලා අහම්බෙන් ඉගෙන ගත්තා වුණාට දොර අරින්න ඊට පස්සේ එතනදී ට්‍රයල් එකෙන් පස්සේ යාට එයා ඉගෙනීමක් වෙනවා. මේක අපිටත් මේ බිහේවියර් එක පොදුයි. ඒකට මෙයා මේ පූස ආපහු දැම්මොත් ආපහු කීපවතාවක් දැම්මොත් බොහොම කෙටි කාලයකදී අරිනවා. හැබැයි බඩ පිරුණොත් ආයෙ වර කැම එක දිහා බලන්නේ පුටි මේ කුඩුවට වෙලා නිදා ගන්න. මේ වගේ තමයි එක්ස්පෙරිමන්ට් එක. This experiment is also can be seen in the internet, but something has happened to my මොනවද මම මේක දාලා තියෙනවනේ මේ link එක hyperlink එක. It's not working. I will try to find a proper experiment and I will show you. So this is the trial and error theory of learning. So this can be used to understand the human behavior. This also can be used. So there are different type of theories can be used to understand the behavior of a human. Hungry cat in a puzzle box. Door could be opened by correctly manipulating a latch. Latch is agula. Correctly manipulating a latch. A fish outside the box. Smell is the strong motive. So motive is very important to activate the behavior. Motive. What is the meaning of motive?
Motivate කරනවා.
motivate කරන එක. උත්තේජකයක්. පෙළඹවීමක්. උත්තේජකයක්. motivate කරන්නේ අපිට හම්බෙන උත්තේජකයක්. ඉතින් දැන් මේකේ අර බඩගින්නේ ඉන්න මේ hungry cat කෙනෙක් දාන්නේ. hungry cat බඩගින්න නැතිනම් මෙයා මොකද කරන්නේ? බඩගින්න නැත්නම් මාළු දැක්කත් ඔබෙන් දාගෙන ඉන්නවා. ආයෙත් බඩගින්න වෙනකොට තමයි එයාගේ අර ක්‍රියාකාරීත්වය ඇති. ඉතින් මේ hungry cat තමයි මේ strong motive එක වෙන්නේ මේ smell එක strong motive එකක් න for the hungry cat. And latch manipulate accidentally. So once the cat put into the cage or into the box, then the latch or agula manipulate accidentally. Accidentally once because of this more strong motive, we know for the hungry cat the fish smell is the strong motive, fish smell. If you had something else, sometimes the cat doesn't want to come out. But smell that they like to have the fish, then they try to find the way to come out. So this is the strong motive. And let's manipulate accidentally came out and got this reward. Reward is the important word. There are different rewards. So can be work as a motive. So reward is very important. The fish is the reward, and they repeated the same process again and again. They put the cat into the cage, but took less time to come out. Now, then we can understand that they have learned something. Trial and error එකෙන් පස්සේ එයාව කොහොමද දැම්ම දැන් ඉගෙනගෙන දැන් දන්නවා කොහොමද එළියට එන්නේ අගුල අරගෙන කියලා. In due course manipulate the latch as soon as it was put in the box. දැන් ගමන් එළියනවා මම එක්ස්පෙරිමන්ට් එක මම පෙන්නන්නම් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට පෙනේ. They don't take much time to open the latch, open the door. Means they have learned. So I will try to find the Thorndike's experiment. This is Edward Thorndike. So we call it low. You okay, I will show you later. Next. Okay, that is the trial and error theory of E.L. Thorndike. And another theory. Who is here? This is called Gestalt theory. Gestalt theory. Called Gestalt. I will mute you all because I can hear some unwanted noises. So I have muted. If you want to talk, you can unmute and speak. Okay. So if you want to ask any question, you can unmute. Okay. So this is another type of theories. So called Gestalt. Can you remember the Gestalt psychology? Yes, with the school, I talk about the Gestalt psychology schools of psychology. Under the schools of psychology, we talk about the Gestalt psychology. So here, Gestalt. So Gestalt mean learning by insight. What is this insight? Insight is our inner visions, inner strengths, or the abilities, our internal abilities, insights, internal visions. So insight is our cognitive abilities. If you use another word to Gestalt psychology, we use our cognitions. Cognitions, all these words, I think you may haven't heard. Cognitions, cognitions, cognitions. What does it mean? Cognitions, cognitive abilities, cognitive skills. cognitive කියන්නේ මොනවද? අපි learning ගැන කතා කරද්දී අපි කියනවා කොටස් තුනක් වර්ධනය කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා. 3H කියලා. Have you heard this 3H? We should train, we should address, no, 3H. First, we teach them the knowledge part. Knowledge, we need to teach the knowledge. Knowledge is, we comes from the head or the brain. We call it 1H, head. We have to develop head. Head cognitive ability, cognitive level. Head, heart, and head, hand, and heart. Yes, Ketika. Correct, very good. Head, hand, and heart. First, we have to address the head part. Head is the knowledge part. So, we teach them the knowledge, theories, related knowledge, how to solve the problems, how to do the creative things, likewise knowledge, cognitive as skills, and so problem solving, memorization, perception, or creativity. Higher mental procedures, we call them higher mental procedures. Cognitive higher mental proceedings. All the actions related to our head, brain, or the brain. Head brain all cognitive. Then hand. What are the things related to our hand when it comes to the learning environment? So you should know the theories. Yes. Then
books
and yes,
experience.
Doing part. Experience. The skills, we call them. Yes, good. Skills. Experience or the skills. Using we engage our hands to do these things. Skills. Knowledge part is the head. Cognitive or the knowledge part. Knowledge, skills. Second hand is skills. Third H is the heart. How do you relate this heart part to the learning process or the learning environment? Heart, can you use the heart for the learning process?
Behavior, good behaviors.
Yes, good behaviors, very good. Good behaviors, good thoughts. We call them attitudes. Call them attitudes. Attitudes related to the heart, good behaviors, good thinking patterns, helping to others, cleanliness. Environment clean තියාගන්න. ඕගොල්ලෝ නම් මැෂින් එකක් ගලෙවොත් ඒ අදාළ පාර්ට්ස් අදාළ තැන යන ටික වෙනම කප් එකකට නම් වෙනම තැනක එකතු කරගන්න එක, ක්ලීන් කරන එක, පිළිවෙලට කරන එක, වැඩේට අනිත් අය ගැන හොඳට අනිත් අයත් එක්ක sharing, caring, cleanliness, මේ වගේ heart එකත් එක්කලා සම්බන්ධයක් තියෙන දේවල්. මේවත් අපි උගන්වනවා. Head, in a training program or in any occasion, we need to think these 3H, we call them 3H, or knowledge, skills, and attitudes. මේ තුනම අපි improve කරන්න ඕනේ. මේ තුනම ගැන address කරන්න ඕනේ මේ කතා කරද්දී. මොකද අපි industry එකට කෙනෙක් යවනවා නම් අපි හදන්නේ වැඩිපුර skillful persons. Then we send them to the industry. If we do not train them in order to behave positive way, positive behaviors, තන කියලා ගහනවා නම් ගත්ත තැන බඩු තියන්නේ නැත්තම්, වැඩ කරන මේ work table එක පිරිසිදු නැත්තම්, එක තැන ගන්න දේ දාලා තියෙනවා නම්, වැඩ කරන ආයතනයට ආදරයක් නැත්තම්, ඉගෙන ගන්න තැනට ආදරයක් නැත්තම්, heart එක මේ ඔක්කොම වලපන්නේ අපි කියනවා මේවා අපේ attitudes. අපි කෙනෙක්ගේ attitudes උත් මනින්න ඕනේ. attitudes දියුණු කරන්න ඕනේ. ඒකත් education එකේම කොටසක්. මේ විදිහට මේ තුන තමයි අපි හදන්න ඕනේ. knowledge, skills and attitudes. 3H කියන head, heart and hand. මේ තුනම develop කරන්න ඕන පුද්ගලයාගේ overall development එකට. අපි එහෙම නැතුව knowledge විතරනේ gestalt theory එක කියන්නේ මේ සමස්තය දකින්න එක. insight අපේ brain එකකින් කතා කරන්නේ. ඉතින් මෙයාලා මේ cognitive skills තමයි cognitive aspect එක ගැන තමයි gestalt theory එකෙන් කතා කරන්නේ. මේ හැමදේම ගැන අපි සමස්තය දකින්න කියන එක තමයි gestalt වගේ නිර්වචනය. See overall picture of a problem. If you get a question, so you study the whole environment to get a solution. So that you know these apes or the chimpanzees, they have used this gestalt psychologists use these apes or the chimpanzees to do their experiments. They also did several experiments to study this gestalt abilities or the cognitive abilities. මේ brain එකේ තියෙන දේවල් වලේ එය කොහොමද මේකට බලපාන කියලා මේගොල්ලෝ අපි ගැටලු විසඳන්න, තර්ක කරන්න, අලුත් දේවල් අඳුර ගන්න කොහෙන්ද පාවිච්චි වෙන්නේ අපේ brain එක. ඉතින් එතකොට මේ අපි මේ එකක් නෙමෙයි අපිට අර reinforce වෙනවා විතරමක් නෙමෙයි අපිට behavior එක අඳුර ගන්න නම් ඒ විතරක් මදි අපිට දෙයක් දීලා විතරක් මදි. අපි මේ හැම දේම සමස්තයෙන් දකින්න ඕනේ කියන එක තමයි මේගොල්ලෝ අරමුණ උනේ. I don't know what has happened. You may 1 minute. I will show you the experiment. Otherwise,
so what we did is we put two capuchin monkeys side by side. Again, these animals, they live in a group. They know each other. We take them out of the group, put them in. Final experiment that I want to mention to you is our fairness study. And so this became a very famous study.
Yes,
and
madam,
now
yes.
many more, because after we did this about 10 years ago, it became very well known. And we did that originally with capuchin monkeys, and I'm going to show you the first experiment that we did. It has now been done with dogs, and with birds, and with chimpanzees. But with Sarah Brosnan, we started out with capuchin monkeys. So what we did is we put two capuchin monkeys side by side. Again, these animals, they live in a group. They know each other. We take them out of the group, put them in a test chamber. And there's a very simple task that they need to do. And if you give both of them cucumber for the task, the two monkeys side by side, they're perfectly willing to do this 25 times in a row. So cucumber, even though it's really only water in my opinion, but cucumber is perfectly fine for them. Now, if you give the partner grapes, the food preferences of my capuchin monkeys correspond exactly with the prices in the supermarket. And so if you give them grapes, it's a far better food than you create inequity between them. So that's the experiment we did. Recently, we videotaped it with new monkeys who had never done the task, thinking that maybe they would have a stronger reaction, and that turned out to be right. The one on the left is the monkey who gets cucumber. The one on the right is the one who gets grapes. The one who gets cucumber, note that the first piece of cucumber is perfectly fine. The first piece she eats. Then she sees the other one getting grape, and you will see what happens. So she gives a rock to us, that's the task. And we give her a piece of cucumber, and she eats it. The other one needs to give a rock to us. And that's what she does. And she gets a grape. And she eats it. The other one sees that. She gives a rock to us now, gets again cucumber. She tests the rock now against the wall. She needs to give it to us. And she gets cucumber again. So this is basically the Wall Street protest that you see here.
Okay, very sorry. There was a problem with the connection, so something has happened. Can you hear me now?
Yes, madam, yes.
Yes, sorry. The previous meeting was however, I will share the previous video is not the correct video, and I wanted to show you another video. So yeah, someone send me the link also. Thank you. So here, this
Puzzle
one.
box.
I found, yes, the
Wow.
Insight Learning. Insight Learning. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, madam, yes.
Ah, so this is the experiment that I mentioned in my yes. Wait, I need to share the sound. Can you hear the video?
No, madam, no.
In Leipzig, Germany.
And now it's
Psychology
okay.
at the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology in Leipzig, Germany. Psychologist Joseph Cole places a peanut inside a clear tube. How can the chimpanzee get the snack? She's never seen this puzzle before.
For 10 minutes, there is no solution in sight. And all of a sudden, boom, they solve it. They have to understand that they can use the water as a tool. This is interesting because the water itself, it doesn't have any shape.
Using water as a tool seems like something we would do on a good day.
Madam, make a sound again, madam.
නෑ ඒකේ සවුන්ඩ් එකක් නෑ මං හිතන්නේ. මම ෂෙයා කරලා තියෙන එකේ මොකුත් නෑ.
Hadi, madam.
නරේෂන් එකක් නැහැ. There are bananas hung on the ceiling and some sticks are here and there. So the ape tried to fix one by one to get එකකින් ගන්න බෑ ඔක්කොම එක සැරේට ගන්න බෑ අර ෆික්ස් කරලා තමයි ගන්න ඕනේ ඒකෙන් අනිත් එක අරගෙන ගන්න ඕනේ මේගොල්ලෝ ඉන්සයිට් මෙයා ප්‍රශ්න විසඳන හැටි තමයි මේකෙන් පෙන්නන්නේ අර එකකින් එකක් ෆික්ස් කරලා අර ගන්නවා මේ විදිහට තමයි ගන්න බලන්නේ බලමු මෙල්ල තියෙන කෙසෙල් ගන්න තමයි මේ try කරන්නේ කෙසෙල් එක ගන්නවා එහා පැත්තෙන් අර එක එකට එකතු කරලා යා බලනවා overall environment එක බලලා insight එකකින් තමයි වැඩි කරන්නේ යාගේ insight එක another experiment they wanted to get their banana the keyword can you see the banana is hung on the ceiling ගත්තා පෙට්ටි එකකින් ගන්නත් බෑ එක විසඳන්න ඕනේ ඒවා inputs තියෙනවා හැමතැනම so they have to look at the overall picture මේ පෙට්ටි වෙනම තියෙනවා මේවා තියෙනවා මේගොල්ලෝ එක එක එක්ස්පෙරිමන්ට් කර කර බලනවා ඒගොල්ලෝගේ දේවල් ගන්න okay now they know the way to get the banana so without wasting time right so like this or almost the so they use all the equipment all the instruments yeah so the video is not clear but we can have the idea we can get the idea so now you know what has happened so you can have the idea this website is very very important you can have this Simply Psychology website too there are several websites to give more information related to this human behavior and also this it described very well so insight and gestalt psychology so you can use these websites to have more ideas regarding the gestalt psychology so here they have mentioned this psychologists who talk about the insight or the Gestalt psychology, Wertheimer, Kohler, Kafka, Kurt Lewin. There are German psychologists who did the experiment with, regarding this mental abilities. So Gestalt learning by insight. So Gestalt is a German noun for which there is no English word equivalent. So the term was carried over in English psychological literature. The nearest English translation of Gestalt is configuration, or more simply an organized whole. So this is what we use as the meaning of the Gestalt, an organized whole. So the apes or the chimpanzees organized everything in the room. So to take the reward, they have organized. So organizing means they use their brain, mental abilities, brain. They use their brain thinking or the memorization they use, in contrast to be collection of parts. So process of learning as a Gestalt or an organized whole. So to understand everything, to understand the behavior, we need to know about this Gestalt part also. So we'll move into our PowerPoint. So here we were here. So now we saw the experiment. They are also he took the peanut using the water or the liquid. Then he put it into the instrument and it came up. So likewise, they use this Gestalt word, learning by insight. So these are the experiments you saw in the video. Banana was hung, a box placed inside the cage, tried to reach banana by jumping, but they could not achieve the banana reach by using boxes. So you saw the different stages of the problem. So they change by changing boxes. They change the boxes to difficult the task. That is why they change the boxes to difficult the task. So there they try to see their problem solving ability. So they wanted to see their insightful skills, insight skills. So they use different strips, different size of strips to take the banana. Likewise, they change the experiment. So this is what they did. So these are the Gestalt psychology. Max Wertheimer and Wolfgang Kohler, Kafka, they wanted to change, to understand, identify the human strength. So more or less, they did several experiments with the apes. So they wanted to say that the human being is also like them. So we use our mental abilities or our skills, memory, if you want to solve the problem. So here, in understanding the human behavior, these experiments also give us the insights, give us the content that we can understand human behavior by looking at the overall picture, looking at the overall without thinking the what we call the reinforcement or as a previous rewards. We as a human being work or activate using their brain capacities. So they look everything, not only the reinforcement or the stimulants, but we use all our abilities where it comes to the behavior. That is what the Gestalt psychologist says. Now you saw psychoanalysis or the physiologist looked at only one side, but here this says that we work according to our inner abilities or the cognitive strength, the cognitive ability, brain ability, strength. So here, I saw you the meaning of the word Gestalt is similar to the configuration. It we can give you the meaning and organize whole. We organize everything with our previous experience, existing knowledge, and our capacity of analyzing. Everything can be work together to solve the problem or in order to the behavior. අපි අපේට යම්කිසි දෙයක් ආවම මිනිස්සු විදියට අපේ behavior එක අපිට ලැබෙන දේ අනුව විතරක්ම නෙවෙයි අපි පෙන්වන්නේ ඊට අමතරව අපේ අපේ තියෙන අයින්ද්‍රිය කුසලතාවයන් අපේ brain එකත් එක්ක සම්බන්ධ වෙච්ච අපේ කුසලතාවයන් සමග තමයි අපි ඒවා පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. අපේ Gestalt psychology මේ ඔක්කොම අපි එකට මේ හැමදේම එකතු කරගන්නවා. එක part එකක් විදිහට නෙමෙයි අපි ගන්නේ as a whole. That is the meaning of this Gestalt psychology, right? As a whole. Now here you all, I think, have seen this picture. What you can see. What you can see.
Two faces and
if you yes, good. If you two faces and yes, flower vase like vase එකක් වගේ කන්න පේනනේ. Yes. If you focus your attention into the black area, the dark side of this picture, then you can see two faces. Can you? If you focus your attention onto this dark area.
Yes.
Then or else if you focus your attention into the white area, then only you see the vase, right? The white area එකට focus කරොත් අපේ ඇස් දෙක, your vision, you can see the vase. Or if you focus your attention into the dark area, then you will observe the two faces. Likewise, that is what the Gestalt says. Then now you need to pay your attention to the whole area. Then your perception may change. Your perception may change according to the different situations. මේම තමයි අපේ attention එක අනුව අපේ like dislikes අනුව අපිට එක එක ඒවා පේන්න පුළුවන් මේවා. නේ? අපි බලන විදිය අනුව අපි ඒ වෙලාවේ ඉන්න mentality එක අනුව. So all these matters when it comes to the behavior. මේ හැම එකක්ම අපිට තියෙනවා. Now this picture. So if you focus your attention into this cross, what will happen? Just see. Focus your attention to the cross. What will happen?
Pink,
Then can you see
going
the
to blur.
dots blurred? Ne, the blur වෙනවා නේද? ඒකට පේන්නේ නැහැ. You can't see the pink dots. නේ? විනාඩියක් බලන් ඉන්න 4 5ක් 6ක් බලන් ඉදි එක් වෙනවා. ඔයගොල්ලෝට අපි මේ cross එක දිහා බලන් ඉදි මේ වටේ මුකුත් නැහැ වගේ. හැබැයි if you focus your attention on the pink dots, what will happen? Can you see the blank space? මේක දිහා බලාගෙන ඉන්නකොට මේක blank space එකක් තියෙනවා කියලා අපිට පේන්නේ නැහැ සමහරලාට. We can see the whole circle.
Yes.
Likewise, what you can see. Do you consider this as a rectangle or the circle? This as a circle or half circle? මේවා අපි කොටුවක් විදිහට කන්සිඩර් කරනවා නේද? මේක කොටුවක්ද ඒ උනාට? ස්ක්වයර් එකක්ද මේක? Can you consider this as a square?
Oh, it's a white. Yeah.
Yes, we consider it as a square, ne? But it's not a square. If you focus, if you තාර්කිකව හිතුවොත් මෙතන මේ මොනවද සර්කල් වල මේ කොටස් හතරක් අයින් කරපු එකක්. නමුත් අපිට පේනවා මෙතන ස්ක්වයර් එකක් විදිහට. ඒකත් එහෙමයි. අපි ඕවරෝල් පික්චර් එක බලනවා කියන එක අපි මෙතනින් කියන්නේ. මෙතනත් අපි කියනවා මේක අපි හිතනවා මේක half circle එකක් විදිහට. මේවා ස්ක්වයර්ස් විදිහට අපි දකිනවා. මොකද අපි ගන්නවා කියන්නේ අපි හැම වෙලෙම අර ඉන්සයිට් එකකින් අපි හැම වෙලෙම ගන්න අපේ ඕවරෝල් පික්චර් එක. මේ වගේ මේක තමයි මේ ගෙස්ටෝල්ට අපි හැම දෙයක්ම පරිසරයේ තියෙන දෙයක් වුණත් අපි හැම දෙයක්ම දකින්නේ අපි ඕවරෝල් පික්චර් එකක් තමයි අපි ඔකට අසු කරගන්නේ අපේ අර ඔක්කොම ස්ට්‍රෙන්ත්ස් අරගෙන. මේක තමයි ගෙස්ටෝල්ට් කියන්නේ අපි හැම දෙයක්ම බලද්දී behavior එකේදී විශේෂයෙන්ම අපිට එකින් එක වෙන් කර ගන්න බෑ. අපේ physical, mental, family, environmental factors, education, our experience, our history, everything, or our job, our skills, likes, dislikes, attitudes, everything will come to one place when you are going to have a decision or going to solve a problem. Everything will support you to behave. That is the core of a Gestalt psychology. Gestalt ලා කියන්නේ අපි මේ හැම දෙයකම සමස්තය තමයි දකින්නේ. අපි elements or the parts are not important. Part or an element is not important. The important thing is the configuration or the gestalt or the collection is the important part. Right? අපි එතකොට අපේ හැසිරීම බලද්දී අපි මේ හැම එකක්ම වෙන්වෙන්ව ස්ටඩි කරන්න ඕනේ. කියන්නේ අපි බලනවා අපිට වෙනම ගන්න බෑ මේ එකක්වත්. අපි අපේ මේ හැසිරීම තුළ මේ හැම දෙයක්ම තියෙනවා. කෙනෙක් හැසිරෙන ආකාරය තුළ මේ හැම දෙයක්ම තියෙනවා. අපිට පුද්ගලයෙක් අවබෝධ කරගන්න නම් මේ හැම දෙයක්ම බලන්න ඕන කියන එක තමයි මේ කියන්නේ. එක angle, එක perspectives. විවිධ කණ්ණාඩි වලින් බලනකොට පේන විදිහ තමයි අපි මේ කතා කරන්නේ. එක කණ්ණාඩි. Gestalt approach එක කියන්නේ එක විදිය. අපිට ඒකත් ගන්න පුළුවන්. Physiological approach කියන්නේ එක විදිය. දැන් අපි තව කියනවා මේ humanistic approach එක. This is another type of approach. Maslow and his followers developed this approach, humanistic approach. This is another type of an approach we can use to understand the human behavior. Always we are trying to identify the behavior. So Abraham Maslow, have you heard Maslow? Abraham Maslow, hierarchy of need. අහලා තියෙනවද? Maslowගේ need hierarchy එක අහලා තියෙනවද ඔයගොල්ලෝ?
No, madam.
Need hierarchy triangle එකක් තියෙන basic need, physiological need, then මං කිව්වනේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ මොකද අහලා නැහැලු කියනවාද personality එකේදී කතා කරේ නැද්ද අහලවත් නැහැ කියනවා Humanistic approach of Abraham Maslow. So this is also used to understand the human behavior, specifically human motivation. So human motivation, to motivate human being, we can use this humanistic approach. So to optimize person's performance by making his inner instincts. So here we can use this hierarchy of needs, need hierarchy. I have not included that need hierarchy to here, so you know what the need hierarchy. First, we think our basic or the physiological needs. What are the physiological needs? We try to fulfill our physiological needs: food, water, oxygen, sex, likewise. We remove the waste. Those are the physiological needs that we want to satisfy in the very first moment. Physiological needs. Now you have to imagine the need hierarchy, Abraham Maslow's need hierarchy, which I discussed under the personality. So we discussed that need hierarchy under the personality. Personality also we discuss about the motivation, how to motivate people. So first we need to satisfy their physiological needs. ශාරීරික අවශ්‍යතාවයන් තමයි මිනිස්සුන්ට මුලින්ම satisfy කරන්න ඕනේ. Physiological need. මොනවද physiological need කියන්නේ? ඉස්සෙල්ලාම කෑම බීම ඉන්න හිටින්න තැනක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. කන බොන දේවල් ගැන තමයි ඉස්සෙල්ලාම වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඊට පස්සේ love and belong security එනවා. Love and belongingness, self security කිව්වොත් එහෙම ඉන්න තැනක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒක ගියක් දොරක් හදාගන්න එක ගැන අපි worry වෙනවා, motivate වෙන්නේ ඊළඟට ඒවයි. ඊට පස්සේ ඒ දෙකම තියෙනවා නම් තමයි third stage එකට අපි යන්නේ love and belonging. එහෙම නැත්නම් affections ගැන අපිට ආදරය ගැන කතා කරන්න එතනදී අපිට ආදරය අවශ්‍යතාවය මිනිසුම ලබා ගන්න අපි බලන්නේ ඒ අර දෙකම සම්පූර්ණ වෙනවා. එතකොට මේ third stage ඊට පස්සේ අපි කතා කරනවා self affections. ඊට පස්සේ self estimate. self fourth level is the self esteem එක. අපිට සොයම් නැත්නම් ආත්ම සම්මානනීය අවශ්‍යතාවයක් වෙනවා. අර තුනම තියෙනවා නම් ආදරය, ආරක්ෂාව සහ කැම බීම වගේ basic needs සම්පූර්ණ වුණාම then we try to find the self esteem. ඔන්න එතකොට අපිට කවුරු හරි අපේ නමට මොකක් හරි හානියක් වෙන දෙයක් කරොත් නැත්නම් මම ඔන්න මට අර හැමදේම තියෙනවා නම් තමයි මගේ හැසිරීම බලපාන්නේ මගේ esteem එක. ඒ කියන්නේ මට තියෙන reputation එක, මට තියෙන පිළිගැනීම නැති වෙනකොට මම එතනදී කැමති නැහැ. එතකොට ඔන්න මම අඳින පළඳිනවා වෙන්න පුළුවන්, branded දේවල් ගන්න පුළුවන්, යන වාහනේ ගැන branded වෙන්න ඕනේ, හිතනවා කන බොන තැන් ඊට පස්සේ කන්න බොන්න යන්නේ branded ඒවට වෙන්න පුළුවන් 5 star. එතකොට මම බලන්නේ basic needs මගේ satisfy වෙලානේ. එතකොට මම බලන්නේ මගේ esteem එක. මම මගේ හැසිරීම මට esteem reputation එකක් මම වෙනකොට එකක් ඉන එකකට තමයි මම ඒ ස්ටේජ් එකට ආවම මම මොටිවේට් වෙන්නේ නැතුව මම ජස්ට් ඔය අර මේ බේසික් ඒවට මම මොටිවේට් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක ස්ටීම් එක මම කල්පනා කරනවා මම මොන හරි දෙයක් දුන්නත් මම දෙන්නේ මගේ අර ආත්ම සම්මානනයේ උදෙසා self esteem එක තියෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ fifth stage එක if you can remember very well self, can you remember the 5 levels? self අර උඩම ත්‍රිකෝණයේ උඩම තියෙන කොටසට අපි කිව්වේ අර මහත්මා ගාන්ධියම ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නවා කියලා ඒක ස්ටේජ් එකකට can you remember what is that stage? or the religious leaders like Buddha, they have come to this stage. They don't have any other things to satisfy their lives. They are the self. No one can remember. Self actualized stage. Fifth stage. So the humanistic approach, you should take that need hierarchy into this slide. Okay, I am not adding that slide because I know I can discuss without using that slide. So this is my memory. So I know that you don't have such an experience. So you should add this part into these slides. Okay, humanistic, under the humanistic approach, you have to add the need hierarchy of need. මම මේ මම හැමදාම කියන ඕගොල්ලන්ට මේක මේ ඕගොල්ලන්ට දෙන නෝට් එකක් නෙමෙයි. මම මේ PowerPoint එක හදාගන්නේ මගේ පහසුවට. So don't depend on the slides that I am shared with you. Don't depend, because this is a very what we call very short. This is very short note for me to get the support. නැත්තම් මට අමතක වෙනවා නේ, නිසා තමයි මේ hierarchy of needs. Then I know Maslow's hierarchy of needs, so I can teach it without that need hierarchy. So you please don't depend on these slides. මේ slides එක මම එවනවා. slides එක එවුවා කියන ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේක ගැන හිතන්න එපා. මේක තව improve කරගන්න. ඔයගොල්ලෝ පේනවා ඇති මම මේ එක slide එක සෑහෙන වෙලා කතා කරනවා, which means I use this as a supportive document, not the supplement. මම මේක ඔයගොල්ලන්ට දුන්නා කියලා ඔයගොල්ලෝ සතුටු වෙන්න එපා. මේකෙන් කොහොම හම්බ වෙනවා කියලා. So you have to improve the content. So this is humanistic approach. So human being, according to the Maslow, humans work in order to satisfy their motivation. So need hierarchy is the important way of satisfying their needs. So after the self-esteem stage, now the people wanted to use or get the maximum stage. So we call it self-actualization stage. So there they have satisfied all their needs. එතකොට ආයෙ මොකද ඒවා needs වලට එහා ගිය තැනකට තමයි මේ self actualization stage එකට යන්නේ. එතකොට ඒකෙදි ඒගොල්ලෝ හිතන්නේ මේ reputation එක ගැන, self reputation, they have already earned the reputation and they don't want more. Now they are කියන්නේ තුරිතයකට ඇවිල්ලා කියන්නේ එතනින් එහාට ඒගොල්ලෝ මේ ගැන හිතන්නේ නැහැ. self esteem එකේදී ඒගොල්ලෝ තව වර්ධනය කරගන්න ඕනේ esteem එක. But if they have come to the self actualization stage, they don't want anything else, so they are satisfied. So that is what the humanistic approach. First you want to satisfy your physiological needs. Most of the people are in state or lagged in that stage. එතන තමයි අමාරු වෙන සාමීනේ. ඊට පස්සේ esteem නෙවෙයි මොනවා, security stage is the second stage. In the security stage, so they think more secure place, more secure transport mode, or the secure for their belongings, or the loving people. Without my insurance, on the ගෙවල්, on the ගාන ගැන කතා වෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ තමයි love and affections එන්නේ. මොනවට වඩා අපිට අපි ආදරය ගැන හිතන්නේ ඒක අර දෙකම අපි satisfy කරොත්. Likewise, this is the humanistic approach. This is how humans behave according to the Abraham Maslow. So this is also can be considered if we want to understand human being. එකත් එක ආකාරයක් අපේ inner instincts වලින් අපි කොහොමද මේක වැඩ කරන්නේ කියන එක අපිට අවබෝධ කරගන්න. Then there's experiential learning. So this is also the human related to the humanistic approach, and this is human centered. Based on our experience, we work, believe human strengths and potentials. In the humanistic approach, we believe our skills and strengths, potentials, strengths, our ability to do something, our abilities, our skills. All human beings have a natural inclination for learning and desire to grow or the progress. So human wants to grow. All human being wants to go. It's a natural inclination. I have put the meaning here. Inclination is a feeling or preference. It's a feeling, natural inclination, natural feeling. We have the natural feeling to grow. If someone doesn't have this natural inclination, cannot believe, because everyone should have this feeling for learn and desire to go වැඩි වෙන්න ඒගොල්ලෝ වර්ධනය වෙන්න ඉන්න තැනින් ඉහළට යන්න or the progress එක වෙන්න. So they by nature they have these feelings to learn, to grow, to have some progress. We have the natural inclination, natural feeling. Learner should realize the importance and significance of learning tasks. So this is the experiential learning or the experiential human behavior. So we see these are the qualities of experiential behavior. So personal involvement of the learner, so self-initiated. So in this is with related to the learning process. So if the learner wants to grow themselves, if they have this natural inclination, then we don't need to give the external support for them to get the achievements. If they have these qualities, personal element of the learner, self-initiated, එයා තනියෙන් කරගෙන යනවා නම්, self-evaluated නම් එයා තනියම එයාව evaluate කරගන්නවා, pervasive effect of on learner. So then they have the great effect. They cannot stop. They work on the targets. They achieve their targets. No need the external support. If they have the internal inclination, that is the important word, internal inclination. So here, if you are a teacher, you can motivate your students by using different type of incentives or the motivational aspects. But if you or the employer identify the natural inclination of the person, then they can easily improve their work. That is, these are the qualities. And Carl Roger is also an important person when it comes to the humanistic approach. Carl Roger discuss about the strength of the human being. So he introduced this counseling part. So everyone can support to the others in the environment, in our workplace or in the environment. Introduced counseling 1940, creativity and self-capability. So he believed this humanistic approach. The Carl Roger believed the strength of human being. කට්ටියට තියෙන එක එක්කෙනාට එක එක ශක්තියින්, creativity, self capability. So he believed these strengths which lead to self development. So we have our own strength. The only thing is we have to improve these things. Self capabilities we are having, and creativity if we want to do something, we can do. That is the humanistic approach. We have the strengths, we have the skills, abilities, so we can improve. Help the individual to realize his potential. So here, using counseling or mentoring, there are mentoring part also, help the individual to realize their potentials, their skills, their abilities, their strengths and capability to connecting him with inner conscience. So that if they have the inner motivation, inner moral, inner targets, then we can support them using counseling or the mentoring to achieve their goals, realistic goals. So that is the important part in this humanistic approach. So they told that human being can do anything if they want. The only thing is we need to understand what we want, what are the real needs of we have. So that is the important part. So this is what I wanted to talk under this behavior part. So under the understanding the human behavior. So using all these approaches, all these methods, we can understand the human behavior, right? You see, there are different approaches, different ways, different type of methods to be assessed, to be observed the human behavior. So you can use these methods, types, to understand your clients, or your employer, your employees, your friends, your subordinates. Likewise, you can understand the behavior of others, and our own behaviors also we can understand using these different approach. So this is what I wanted to discuss today. So if you have any question, you can raise. If not, please put your number first and then your number and name into the chat. So at the same time, please ask if you have any doubt or if you need any clarification regarding the lesson. Do you?
I think no, madam.
Okay.
We can
I
study
will give
again,
you.
next time we will ask.
Yes, you have to improve you can add some notes to the PowerPoint. I will send it now, and you can watch the videos again and have more information. So there are nice websites which you can have more knowledge with regarding these approaches. Okay. Then I will leave 10:15. Before that, you put. I will give 1 or 2 minutes to put the mark the attendance. Okay. Next week we have the holiday, but I will continue the session. Okay. because I couldn't conduct lectures for 2 days. No,
Okay, madam.
okay. 28, I think 27 or 8. I will have as usual. No?
27.
Yeah, 27. No, yes.
27.
Yeah, 27th. Yeah, I will conduct the session.
8:30. Oh, madam, 7:30.
Yes, yes, 8:30. 8:30. As
Okay.
usual, we'll have the session. Chiriganda and nene.
කියන්න බෑ.
ඔව්. මේ කලින් දවසේනේ පොය දවසේ.
දවස් දෙකක් නිවාඩුනේ.
පොය දවසේ නම් මම නතර කරනවා. නේද?
ඔව්නේ.
ඔව් කොනේ නෑ Okay.
Okay, madam, thank you.
Thank you. We will
Stay safe.
wind up the session. Okay. Take care.